Hey, what's up everyone? This is Snackbox. Hope you all had a great day. Guys, in this video, we are going to talk about the speed in Raid Shadow Legends. How fast can a champion be? What is the maximum amount of speed nowadays? And what was it when the game first came out? And we want to talk about the evolution of it, how fast champions were able to get back then, and how fast can they be today? So before we dive into this with the speed calculations and all that stuff, if you're a spender, make sure to use Aptoide. Aptoide is pretty much the best platform to spend money on if you're spending in Raid Shadow Legends, because every time on every purchase you get a bonus percentage cash back, which you can use for future purchases. And the more you buy, the more or the higher the bonus percentage will be. There are tiers that you can unlock, and also you can use my personal promo code, which is Snack5. I'm gonna put it in the description below. Also, there will be a tutorial how to install it, how to use it, and all you need to know to get started. But yeah, now back to the video. We are going to talk about the speed meta currently in Raid Shadow Legends. And first I want to talk about 2019. That's when I started playing Raid Shadow Legends. You can actually see it here. I have this tutorial class of 2019. That means I completed the tutorial in 2019, and that's when I created my account. So back then, we didn't have Faction Guardians, we didn't have Blessings, we didn't have relics, and also no mythical artifacts or accessories. The best you could do were legendary accessories and legendary artifacts. And that was basically the only source for speed. There were also no ascensions whatsoever. You just had the raw artifacts and accessories with speed rolls on it. We had glyphs and we had the artifacts and accessories, and that's it. So basically you had a weapon, a helmet, a shield, gauntlet, chest, and a banner that could roll speed on it, right? So that's 6 pieces with a potential quad roll. So a max roll would be 4 times 6 plus the base roll, right? If you get a piece, it has a base roll. Either it's 5, which is the min roll, or 6, the max roll. And then if you hit a quad on it, you get additional 6 speed. If it's a max roll, that's like the biggest amount of speed you can get. And that means 4 times 6 is 24, which you can get with rolls, plus the base speed. So this is the maximum amount of speed you could get back then on an artifact or a banner. And then when Faction Wars got released, we got additional 8 speed on that. So that means 38 per piece times 6. Now we add the boots, which are 45 speed. So 273 speed just from rolls, glyphs, and the boots. Then we had the fastest champion back then was actually Siphi, if I remember correctly, and she has a base speed of 114. I don't know if there was a champion back then with 115. I don't think so. Actually, we had Lysandra, which is at 110. We had Arbiter, which is also at 110. So yeah, I think Siphi was the highest base speed back then. That means we're gonna add 114. And let's assume we are using speed sets, right? Which is kind of obvious. So we are going to have a 12% speed set bonus, and that times 3 from 6 artifacts. So that's 36% of the base speed. That means 1.14 times 36 is 41. Then with the Lore of Steel Mastery, we get an extra 15% of the base stats from set bonuses, which is multiplicative, not additive. So that means times 0.15, which is 6 speed additional. right? So it's 47. So 387 speed plus 47, and that's the maximum amount of speed we were able to get there when Faction Wars were out. 2019 it was, I believe, when Faction Wars got released, and this was the maximum amount of speed you were able to get back then. Nowadays, most of the people are actually running with speed like this, and the reason for that is all the additional content areas that give you stat sources, right? Like relics, faction guardians, empowerment, blessings, and all that good stuff. So 434 speed is not that hard to achieve nowadays. Of course, it will take you some time to get there, but it's not as hard as it was 6 years ago. So what does it look like today, right? What is the maximum amount of speed we can get now? And I think this is pretty much an eye-opener to see how fast champions actually are for like the top players in Arena, and it's actually pretty insane. So what is different today? Well, we have mythical artifacts, right? And that means we can have penta rolls on speed on 6 pieces, right? On 5 artifacts, and the banner, 36 speed per piece, plus 8 speed from a maxed out glyph, right? So 36 plus 8, that's 44 speed per piece times 6, that's 264 speed alone from artifacts, from 5 artifacts, and the banner without set bonus. Now we're gonna add the set bonus percentage, and we're gonna, let's say we're gonna use Lady Kimmy because she has 115 base speed, and this is pretty much the highest we have in the game so far. We have Lady Kimmy with 115, we have our base with 115 base speed, and I think there are a couple more, Aelstrid as well. I don't really know exactly which ones, but there are a couple of champions that do have 115 base speed. The best way, or like to achieve the maximum amount of speed, you actually have to use 6 speed artifacts, you know, either impulse, speed, like the original speed set, or the divine speed set, so 6 pieces, and then 3 pieces of protection, because 3 pieces of protection also give you extra 12% speed. So that's gonna be 36% from artifacts, another 12%, which is 48 from accessories. So now we are at 48%. Now the Lore of Steel adds another 15% of the percentage of the 48 as well. So that's gonna be 48% plus 7.2%. So 55.2 times 1.15, which is 1% of 115 base speed. So now we are at 63.48 speed from the set bony alone, plus 264. Now we're gonna add the relic, which gives us speed, right? We have one that gives us a crazy amount of speed actually, and here you can see you can get up to 24 speed if you rank it up to 6. Now that's very hard to do. Gonna take some time to get, you know, food for the relic and to rank it up, but 24 is the maximum amount what you can get here, and we're just talking about, you know, theoretically what's the max amount of speed you could get. So plus 24, so we got the relic in there now. Now we're gonna add the faction guardian bonus, which is 10 speed for legendary champions, and also the 6-star blessing bonus, which is 10 speed for legendary champions, but 20 for mythicals. So we're gonna add that together, which is another 20 speed, right? So it doesn't matter if it's a mythical or a legendary champion. And then we're gonna talk about something interesting, which is the empowerment. And This is actually something that is very overlooked by a lot of people. If you have a +2 champion, you already get +10 speed, which is equivalent to a 6-star blessing or full faction guardians. And then if you have a +4 champion, you get 15 speed. So +2 is actually better than the bonus from +4, but if you get a +4 champion, there's +15 speed from the empowerment, which is way better than, you know, the faction guardian bonus or the 6-star blessing. I mean, the 6-star blessing has also other advantages and things you benefit from, but just from base stats, the empowerment is the most powerful one. So that's gonna be another 15 speed. Then we have speed boots with speed ascensions now. We didn't have ascensions back then, so that's gonna be another 57 speed. So now we're already at 443.5 speed, and we didn't even add the base speed yet. So we're already above the speed that was possible back then without even adding the base speed. So now let's add the base speed, which is 115, and there you go. This is the maximum amount of speed you can achieve nowadays. Maybe it's a little bit off by 1 or 2 speed. I don't know if I did everything correctly, but I think I did. And 558 speed and a half. That is crazy. That is insane. Now, I haven't added the aura yet, right? So intimidating presence and aura will also boost the speed by a lot, and you can hit like 600 speed nowadays, right? So that's, to me, that's completely insane, right? Just for comparison, we were at like 430 speed 6 years ago, and I mean the maximum, right? And that was really hard to get, and now the maximum sits at 558, which is an increase by 130 speed, and that's massive. But I don't believe anybody has that amount of speed. I don't think anybody has like penta rolls with only max rolls and everything else that you need to achieve this speed. It's very hard to get the relic. It's very hard to get a penta roll, even to get an artifact with a speed roll on it, and then to hit it another 4 times, that's very unlikely. But I'm sure there are some pieces out there, but to do that 6 times and only with max rolls and then hit max glyphs, you know, there are not that many speed glyphs we're getting from Faction Wars. So yeah, very unlikely that somebody has this amount of speed, but I just wanted to give you an idea of what's possible. I'm pretty sure some people are close to this speed, like above 500 for sure, and a lot of people are sitting at like 450 to 500 speed. I mean, even without empowerment, with a base champion, you can hit like 450 speed, something like that. So yeah, pretty interesting to see, just to get an idea of where the speeds are at currently, and to make it easier for you to understand if you are fast enough to try to go, you know, with a speedy team. There are still some ways to manipulate the speed battle, right? With the intimidating presence blessing. If you have a 6-star blessing here, you strengthen your aura by 35% and weaken the enemy's aura by 20%. So that's gonna play a huge factor in the arena, even if your gear is not as good as the gear from your opponent. If you have this blessing at a 6-star or maybe 2, so you will definitely have one active. Doesn't matter if he bans one of those champions, you still have one 6-star intimidating presence active, and your opponent doesn't. This gives you a huge advantage and can even out your deficiencies of your gear, but only to a certain degree. Also, another thing how you can win speed battles, of course, is you know, to cut in with temporal chains and then have supersonic on your champion. A 4-piece supersonic will fill this champion's turn meter by 2% per each buff on each enemy. And you can also use this gemstone where turn meter increase effects are 10% more effective on the wearer. So your supersonic temporal chains champion will get even more turn meter boosted. But yeah, this also works only to a certain degree. If the enemy has like 2 boosters and goes first, you kind of like want to cut in after the first one and not get outsped by, you know, 2 boosters. So yeah, pretty interesting to see actually for me as well. I was very curious what is the max speed, and yeah, it's 558.5 speed. As I said, maybe it's a little bit more or less, but yeah, that's pretty much the maximum what we can achieve nowadays. So yeah guys, that's pretty much it for this video. If you enjoy the content, please subscribe to the channel. Also hit the thumbs up, it's very important to push the algorithm. It really helps me to grow this channel, and I really appreciate all of you. And yeah, with that being said, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, I hope you learned something, and see you in the next one.